Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Another day, another dollar. Over 60 now. What? Last night we watched Ant-Man.
I just need to take a moment to appreciate your what?
What? Over 60.
We did watch Ant-Man last night.
Got a bit tired at the end though.
Yeah. I did fall asleep just before the climax of the movie, so I will have to watch that bit again in the bath tonight.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, it's really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ant-Man's one of my favourites. Ant-Man and Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
I think, are my two favourites.
Oh, really?
And I really loved Guardians of the Galaxy 2 the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought I didn't like it as much.
I think it's Baby Groot.
I felt like such a cliche.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
What are your plans for today? Oh, you did a quiz last night, actually.
I did do a quiz last night, which is why I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear this morning. I always save a bottle of Prosecco for the quiz night. But last night I think it was my favourite. The back to school quiz.
It's my favourite as well.
And everyone really enjoyed our little twist, our cheating twist.
Yeah.
Where you could cheat off somebody.
Be a copycat.
I think that worked really well. The person who won though, their brother is a primary school teacher and was on their team.
I mean,
So
it's all
they
fresh
were
in his
bound to
mind.
win. Yeah.
No, it seemed that everyone had a really good time. Everyone was like dressed up as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
Everyone made an effort.
Yeah, it was really fun. Even my parents.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad came in like shirts and ties.
Yeah, it was really
It was
sweet.
really good.
I was thinking today that like about the NHS actually, and about doctors and nurses and how like hard it must be for them. But have you got any like stories of being in hospital or like being like, you know, at the doctors or anything like that?
I've been really lucky. Like I've never broken a bone that I know of. Like maybe I've broken like a finger or a toe, but you know.
I think everyone's done that though.
Yeah, but just didn't really know about it. Yeah, I've never like broken my arms or legs or wrists or whatever. I've never broken anything. I've never been like seriously ill. I was ill when I was very young. I had scarlet fever when I was very young, which was I remember like flashes of that. But I was like very young. But there was this one time where I almost passed out and I heard like a popping in the back of my head, and then I had a headache for 3 days. I was taken to hospital and they were convinced I was on drugs.
Yeah.
Like convinced. I was there for like...
How old are you?
14? 15? Like they did that thing where they were like, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You need to answer honestly. Do you smoke? If you do, how many a day? And have you taken drugs in the last 24 hours? Like recreational drugs, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, definitely like hadn't. And they were like, sorry, Miss Fletcher, can we ask you to leave the room? And got my mum to like leave the room, like, we're going to ask you these questions again now. And like asked me the series of questions again. I was like, no, I haven't smoked weed in the last 24 hours. No, I haven't snorted cocaine in the last 24 hours. Like the answers
2 days ago, I was on it. Not in
like the
day.
answers are all the same.
I bet you do get a lot of like young adults still doing that, like lying because the parents are there.
Oh god, yeah. I think now it's like it's just, what's the word? Common practice where they ask the parents to leave the room first.
Yeah, you would think we do that.
What about you?
I'm trying to think of the stories I've got. Like when I was really young, I was like 3 or 4. They had to call the ambulance because I was in bed as a young kid, maybe even younger, maybe like 2. And it's called something. It's like basically I had a seizure, but it's because I was so hot, I think. And I was all like wrapped up in like whatever I was wearing. Obviously my mum thought I was ill, so she like picked me up and like put her in bed with her because I was ill. And anyway, I ended up just having this seizure, and just like apparently I was like white and just like a plank and not reacting because my body shut down. So my parents thought I was like dead, which is a bit, I don't know. My dad said that when he was like calling the ambulance, he forgot the number because he was so like, yeah, he was just like, because obviously it's like 999, but he just was like, what? You know, he's everything like, and my mum apparently was just smacking me on the back, going, wake up, like, you know. I was just like, yeah, really scary. And then anyway, I went to hospital that night, stayed over, but I don't remember it, obviously, it was too young. Obviously my wrist, but broken both my wrists, sort of roughly told that story.
Yeah.
This one was basketball. Oh god, that was such a bad break. I remember that as well because obviously like what I did, I climbed these like chairs went to slam dunk, missed, but I can't remember anything else.
Yeah, that's how you know it's bad.
Yeah, because I think what happened as I fell, missed the net, and fell like whatever 6 feet, 10 feet. Like I think I must have like put my hand out, my left hand out, and like landed on it and banged my head on the floor as well because I had this massive lump, and I broke my wrist in like 3 places. My brother came from work later on to see me, and older brothers being older brothers, he was like, he's fine. He's not even broke it, he's probably just sprained it. And this is like before we got the x-rays back. And they came back and was like, yeah, Oliver's broke his wrist in 3 places, and there's like a bone that's like dislodged as well. And then like another like funny story, when the doctors came in, was like, right, Oliver, because I was like 14, maybe a bit younger, like 13, and he was speaking to like my mum, but sort of speaking to me. Yeah, we do that. It's like, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna, when Oliver's asleep, we're gonna move the bone back into place. Basically saying I had to have an operation, and he was just trying to say it like without any like horrible words to scare me. But my mum was really confused. She's like, what? Like when he's asleep, I've got to go into his room. Like, she was just really confused. And he's like, no, when Oliver's asleep, we'll like put the bone back in place. And she's like, I don't know if I can do that. She's like, no, you don't have to do anything. Like, she was just really confused. Basically, he was just saying, we're gonna have to put him under, and he's gonna have an operation.
But not trying to freak you out.
Yeah, not trying to freak me out, and just trying to ease like the family into it. But mum, by him saying when he's asleep, thought that when I'm asleep at home, mum might like sneak in with like a surgical mask
and a scalpel.
Yeah, she's like, ah. So that happened. What other stories I've got about doctors and nurses? A good one, which my sister's a trainee nurse, and it's made me laugh when she told me the story. She said a guy came in and he had a broken ankle. He was like at home and he could hear this like cooing from a bird. And he's like, what's that? Like looks up on his roof, and there's like a pigeon stuck up there. So he's like, oh bloody hell, and it was like just going cooing a lot. So he's like, right, okay. So he got his ladder out, climbed up the ladder, right to the top of his house, reaching up for this pigeon, like steps on his like bay window or something, and slips and falls, breaks his ankle, and he's just on the grass like that, and then the pigeon just flies away. Oh. As he's like, he's broke his ankle trying to save a pigeon, and it just goes.
The pigeon did not need saving.
No, it just flew away.
Oh.
Yeah.
My dad broke his elbow, like shattered it.
Yeah.
I think it was something ridiculous, like it shattered into like 9 pieces.
Yeah.
And he was painting the front. I shouldn't laugh, but he was painting the front of the house. And my brother said he saw him like slip, and like the whole ladder just fell like that, and like his elbow landed like between the floor and the ladder.
That is bad, because my brother broke both of his elbows, both of them, like because I think he got pushed over in school by this guy, like picked up and thrown, and he landed like backwards like that. So he had to like sleep like Dracula. Get up in the morning like, but he was in so much pain.
Yeah, I can imagine because that's like a proper joint.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like with all the doctors and nurses, they must be so like busy. I know my same sister of that story I told. She's like training, and then she's going like into hospitals now. Yeah. To help out. Yeah. It allows her to like learn from the front line. You know what I mean, and like learn how to like deal with. You know, she's probably going to learn so much in those couple of weeks in the hospital helping out.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
So yeah, no, she's going in and doing it.
Both your sisters are nurses now, aren't
they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy, my older sister's like qualified, and Emily is training to be a nurse. Yeah, she's in her 2nd year.
And your mum's a carer?
My mum's a carer, yeah. Could you be a carer, do you think?
Yeah, I think I could.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think you'd find it interesting.
I don't think that's a job I'd want, because I feel like I just get emotionally attached to everyone, and I'd be like devastated. Yeah. Like if people passed away or that, I just feel like my heart can't take stuff like that. Like I don't think I could ever work in a hospital because of the amount of death. I just can't. I get so emotionally attached to like random people. Like when I'm working in shows, I've got this old man friend who gets the bus with me every night because he goes and gets drunk at the pub round the corner. and comes back at the same time that I get the bus.
Yeah.
And we've ended up just chatting on the, like, we only go like 3 stops together, but we always have a chat. And I just get so emotionally invested in people's lives, and like in a very short amount of time, that I just don't think I could work in a hospital or as a carer. But I think if, you know, all of a sudden they were like, Carrie, you have to work as a carer today, this is your, like, I think I'd rise to the challenge.
It's amazing what, you know, like doctors and nurses and carers, like what they put up with. It's crazy, isn't it? Like what they must see. My sister's a paediatric nurse, so she's dealing with kids, like, and that is even like,
it's even
more. Yeah, it's even more scary, isn't it? Like when you've got a kid or a little baby or something, like, and you're trying to save this baby's life.
And also because then you've got the parents to deal with as well. Like you've got the parents panicking and worrying, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Just like, I couldn't do it anyway because I'm not qualified and don't have the skills. But I also, if I did have the skills and the qualifications, I just think I'd still find it ridiculously hard or even impossible because of the emotional side of it. That's what I'd really struggle with, the emotional side of working as a carer or in a hospital.
And I don't know how good I am with blood.
I know how good you are with blood.
I don't know.
It's not very
I think
good
I
at
get
all.
a bit woozy.
You do get very woozy.
Did I ever say the story about when I had my jabs for Bali, when we were going to go to Bali after Adam's family, weren't we?
I don't think you talked specifically about the Bali one, no.
So basically we have to have like jabs, like for rabies and
typhoid.
Yeah, and all that sort of stuff. I went to this clinic to get it done, and it was in the pharmacy section. It cost me like £140, £120, I can't remember. And they just like jabbed me, whatever. So I went to this pharmacy bit, and this guy was like, right, here's your little jab, here's your needle. He went, you scared of needles? I was like, no, I'm not. And I honestly stand by that. I don't think I am. But I think if it's blood, I think I go a bit like, ugh. So then he goes, right, I'm gonna put it in. So he does that on my arm and jabs me. But then the needle like breaks in my arm. So like I can feel it go. I'm like not looking, because I don't look now because I don't know what I'm scared of. It sounds really stupid, but I don't know if I'm scared of needles or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just felt this like drip down my arm. I was like, oh man, that's blood. And he's like, oh, don't worry, that's not, you're not bleeding, that's just, because obviously as you put it in, it snapped from the dispenser from to the needle, so you had to do it again. So it was just like the vaccine, I guess. And so he did it again. And then it was like, right, you're all done. So I stood up and got out. And I was like, oh man, I feel a bit dizzy. I was like, damn it, like, because I feel fine, I'm not scared. So when I went to the thing to pay, the counter, and I just felt really like hot. So I looked at my mum. My mum was there. She dropped me off, and she was like looking at me like, Oliver, come here and sit down. I was just sat down like this. I was fine. I just needed to sit down. And then the doctor came out, and that was the worst thing, because the guy was like, he wasn't like a GP. He was just like a pharmacist. No, what's it? A pharmacist?
Yeah.
So he was like looking at me like, you need to go next door into the actual GP lounge and get seen by a doctor, because I'm really scared. I can't let you like walk out when you look like that, because I was so white. And I was like, no, honestly, it's fine. This happens when I have like needles and stuff. It's like my adrenaline goes whoop, and I get really like whatever. And it just takes me a while. He's like, no, go next door. So I was like, oh man. So I had to go next door. Sat down in this waiting room, and the average age must have been like 79. Very old clientele. I'm sat there like this, and then this nurse comes in and goes, the boy that fainted next door because of the needle. Like, and obviously it was me, because everyone else was like grey or like no hair at all, you know, very old. So everyone was like, looked at me and was like, yeah, that's me. So I had my blood pressure done and it was fine. But yeah, don't know what that is. It's weird because I had a B12 in high fidelity, and I was like, I'm not gonna have this. I was thinking in my head, I was thinking, don't do it all, because you just get, because when like that happens to me, when I do get a needle or whatever, and it's like, and my, like whatever happens, obviously my adrenaline spikes.
Yeah.
And sort of for about an hour, it ruins my day a bit. Not ruins my day, but, and obviously I was in rehearsals at the time for high fidelity, so I was like, oh, I don't want to like do it. I was like, no, I'll be fine. So I had it and I was fine. So I think it is just,
I remember worrying a little bit about you that
I think it's just the blood, if I see like blood.
Yeah.
I remember one time I like the first time like I like passed out was when I had a a blood test. And it's so funny, I think I was about 13, 14. And I looked at it And I looked at the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Oh, you're very brave looking. Sometimes people don't look." And I was like, "Yeah, it should be fine." And then yeah, because there's so much blood, like, yeah.
I remember when I had to go to the hospital for that headache thing, they put like a little thing in my arm. And it was like, I think I didn't watch it go in, but then I watched it come out, and it was so much bigger than I expected it to be. It was like a tube like that in my arm. And she just went and just whipped it out, and it hurt so much, and I had bruises all down my arm for like 2 weeks afterwards. But that was the worst thing about the whole thing. Like, that was worse than what I went in there for. Yeah. It was so painful.
I remember having a blood test like in my adult life, and having that memory of like looking at the blood, going like, "Don't look at it because you'll faint, and you're an adult now." You know, and you're an adult. You're not 12 or 13. You're 27 or whatever. Like, come on, Ollie, just be smart and don't faint, or don't. I never fainted, but don't like get woozy. So I said to the doctors, like, "You're gonna take this out, but I'm gonna look away, like, just because I don't want to see it, and I sometimes get a bit lightheaded." He's like, "All right, yeah, fine." So you put it in, and I was like, looked away. As I looked away, I looked straight at the yellow bucket with all the used needles in it, and like I could see like red in it. I was like, I looked straight at this bucket with like loads of used needles and like blood and stuff, and it obviously was probably like a bit of paint on the wall, on the white wall. It was just like a bit of red. I was like, "Oh no." And he took it, and I was like, "Can I lie down?" Just laid, as he was like inputting like whatever he had to do. I just laid down on this thing. I was like, "I'm sorry about this, mate." I was like, "Does it happen a lot?" He's like, "No, not that often."
Oh, good.
I just like laying there. Oh, I don't know when it was. I was in London, so I think it was Mormon, so a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago maybe. And I've never fainted. I always hold that in high regard, but I've been close.
I've never fainted either.
I just get really hot and like dizzy, and I have to sit down.
Yeah, the closest I ever came was that when I had to go into hospital. But that was like, I remember walking up my stairs and just feeling this like popping in the back of my head, and all my vision went, and I had to like sit down, but I still like was conscious.
There was one story in the metro, and it was about this guy, this young lad, about 18, and it's a bit graphic, but he killed his girlfriend. And I was reading it on the train, and this was going to high fidelity rehearsals, or the show, I can't remember. I was on the tube just reading it, going, "Oh my God." And it actually got to the end of the story where the murder happens, and he sort of roughly described what happened and how he did it. And I was like, oh, and I got really lightheaded, because I read the story about this obviously awful man and an awful murder. And it was just so graphic, and like how he killed her with a knife, whatever. And I was just like, read it, and I was like, oh my God. And because I just obviously visualised all the blood and stuff, I was like, oh my God. Got off the tube, I was like, I need to sit down. Like, I came up, but there's no benches anywhere. What was it? Sloane Square in London. I came out Sloane Square, and I was looking about like, is there a bench? I need to sit down, but I couldn't find anywhere. So I just like walked really slowly, I think against the wall for a bit. Just like, oh my God. Because I read a story in the metro about murder. Horrible.
How do you deal with The Walking Dead then?
I don't know, I just think it's fake. I know I can just sort of say it's fake.
Yeah, I guess, right.
Weird, isn't it, the brain?
Yeah, very strange.
Well, that's that.
There we go.
Thank you to all the doctors and nurses out there,
yes,
and the carers. That was a little episode talking about that. I know it wasn't too in-depth, but a bit random, and we sort of went off into a million tangents and talked about blood and needles and stuff. But interesting though. Very interesting. Right, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Be safe out there. Don't faint when you see a lot of blood. Find a seat and just sit down. Oh, that's pretty good. Bye.